Hi, my name is Robb. My Blackfoot name is Ninistaka, which means Chief's Helper or Chief's Warrior. For many, many generations, my family's been from Southern Alberta. I was an original fellow of the Energy Futures Lab back, I think it was 2014. We were approached, and it was a wonderful experience. I think there's 40 of us as fellows. Most have moved on now. Many of us, like me, are still either alumni or affiliates. And I was approached by some people within the EFL, some people that wanted to design a new program to have discussions specifically around Indigenous opportunities and Indigenous inclusion. So as part of the Indigenous Advisory Committee, I found it a great subset of the EFL for differing thoughts, differing people, differing experiences to come together, working towards a common goal. And the wonderful thing about the IAC was the goal wasn't predetermined or preset. So it allowed us to grow our own thoughts and come up with a great product, I think. This group, I think, worked really hard and I think met with some success. And I think you probably would be hard-pressed to construct a group that had better experience in government, in industry, in First Nations. And I think that was some of the beauty, is it gives you so many great perspectives. One of the things I think our group, or I'd like to think our group, was moving towards was not just make us on page 3 of the ESG report of every major industry, every publicly traded company, every government organization. I think we can be better than that. I think that Indigenous groups can contribute, can be part of, can be engaged at every level. So the Same Game New Rules report and being part of, from the EFL to the IAC, was important to me again as a balance. And I think we need to appeal to a group that we might call a radical middle. And if we're too far polarized on either side, I think that's lost. What I'm hoping came out of this exercise was a piece of work that the middle can understand and the middle can see themselves in. If we don't see ourselves in a project, if we don't see ourselves in a paper, it's really hard to relate. That transcends any ethnic boundaries, any age boundaries. When we're trying to engage with somebody or something, we need to see ourselves in something. To me, future fit hydrocarbons is not removing hydrocarbons from our economies, from our use. What it is finding out how to use it better, be more efficient, how to find different uses for them. And I think it's fine for us to have different definitions. I think that's part of the beauty of a group like this, where we're strong in thoughts, but also strong in sharing our thoughts and our opinions. What I don't want to see, and why I was interested to be part of this group, was I didn't want it to stagnate. I think we always need to be driving for better. We can change and use things differently. So I see it really as an opportunity for the future look. I'm quite against forgetting about the past and how we got there. I think that's incredibly important for us to have. But I think it's the opportunity of what we can be and growing better opportunity in Canada, better opportunity in Alberta, better opportunity for First Nations. Governments in First Nations exist just like governments in non-First Nations exist. Now, is there different opportunities because it may be on First Nations land? You bet. Is there different opportunities to have First Nations inclusion and engagement? You bet. But I think you're going to have Indigenous participation in any major projects in Canada going forth. We need to be doing things, making decisions on projects, on policy that are made with the First Nations. They have to be part of those decisions that are made. And I think it's a fundamental change that's really picked up speed in the last 15 or 20 years. People are more cognizant about it now. Indigenous groups are more cognizant about it. They're demanding to be included in decisions that impact them. So I think it's important for us to be realists. I think it's important for us to not just come up with policy in downtown Calgary, in downtown Vancouver, in downtown Toronto. I think we really need to understand and talk with people that are impacted. In our case, with Indigenous people that are actually on the land, that actually will see the difference. Indigenous people are 2.5 to 3 times as likely to be involved in the extractive sector than non-Indigenous Canadians. And I think it's important for us to recognize we don't mine in downtown Vancouver. We don't pump hydrocarbons in downtown Calgary. So where do we do it? We don't mine for diamonds in downtown Ottawa. Where do we do it? It tends to be out in the country. It tends to be on Indigenous lands or close to Indigenous lands. Perhaps we need to talk to those people. And again, that's what I think was the beauty of this group. And perhaps me having a contrarian view to others is a challenge us to look differently. And I think that's the importance. And that's what gives us a much better product.